Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we'll be learning about reindeer, the icons of the Arctic. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. During the Arctic summer, the sun doesn't set for months, but that's not the only constant. Reindeer have to eat pretty much constantly to bulk up for the harsh, frigid winter. Would you believe reindeer have developed the curious adaptation to keep eating even as they sleep? Are these creatures roaming the land of the midnight sun and having a midnight snack while they snooze? What do you think? Is this an actual fact or just too good to be true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is caribou. That's C-A-R-I-B-O-U. Caribou is the name used in North America for the exact same species as the reindeer. We tend to use the word reindeer when referring to domesticated animals found in Europe and Asia, or the ones pulling a sleigh. The wild populations found in Canada and Alaska go by the name caribou. They're scientifically known as rangifer tarandus, and despite the different common names, they're genetically the same animal. The distinction is largely based on geography and whether the animal is wild or domesticated by humans for herding. The name caribou came to us from the indigenous word used by the Mi'kmaq people. They called these halibu, which roughly translates to snow shoveler. It's a perfect description because these animals use their wide, shovel-like hooves to dig deep through heavy snowpack to find food buried underneath. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about reindeer. Number 1. Reindeer are some of the only mammals that can see ultraviolet light. Humans can generally only see a specific range of colors called the visible light spectrum. There are some exceptions to this. Some people have an extra cone, and some people may have had their lens in their eye removed, and that might allow them to see some ultraviolet light. But generally speaking, reindeer have evolved a sort of superpower that allows them to see things completely invisible to the rest of us. In the stark white landscape of the Arctic, it can be nearly impossible for a human eye to distinguish between a polar bear or a white wolf against the snow. But for a reindeer, this isn't a problem. Things like fur and urine absorb UV light, so to a reindeer, a predator or a patch of lichen stands out in high contrast, almost like a glowing beacon against the snow. This unique adaptation is crucial for their survival during the dark Arctic winters where the sun barely rises. By processing these shorter wavelengths of light, they can navigate their environment and spot danger long before a human would ever notice anything was there. Scientists believe this ability evolved specifically because the snow reflects so much UV light that it would blind other animals, but reindeer have adapted to use that intense reflection to create a high contrast map of their world. Number 2. Reindeer knees make a clicking sound that acts as a sort of communication tool. If you were to walk alongside a herd of reindeer, you would hear a distinctive clicking noise with every step they take, almost like castanets. The sound isn't caused by creaky joints or old age. It's a tendon in their foot snapping over a bone specifically to create this noise. It's a completely natural and painless anatomical feature that serves a vital purpose for the herd during travel. Imagine trying to stay with your group in a fierce Arctic blizzard where visibility is essentially zero because the wind is gusting, snowflakes are drifting all over the place. In these whiteout conditions, reindeer can't see each other, so they rely on these audible clicks to stay together in a tight formation. The larger the reindeer or caribou, the louder the click, which also helps the herd understand their hierarchy and position of the other animals around them without ever having to make a vocal call that might attract predators. Number 3. Reindeer noses warm up the air before it reaches their lungs. When a reindeer breathes in freezing air, it can be as cold as minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit. The elaborate internal structure of their nose creates a large surface area filled with blood vessels. This design rapidly warms the air by as much as 70 or 80 degrees in a split second before it enters the sensitive lung tissue. Not only that, the nasal system is incredibly efficient at retaining moisture. When the reindeer exhales, the nose cools the air back down instantly to capture the water vapor so it doesn't leave the body. This prevents the reindeer from getting dehydrated by the dry Arctic air and helps them conserve precious body heat. Thermal cameras actually show reindeer noses glowing bright red because of the massive amount of blood flow concentrated there to keep the heat exchange system working. So I guess maybe Rudolph wasn't that different from the rest of the reindeer after all. Number 4. Reindeer hooves change shape depending on the season. Just like people might change the tires on their vehicles depending on weather conditions, reindeer can actually change their hooves to adapt to the conditions of different seasons. In the summer, when the tundra is soft and wet, the pads of their hooves become sponge-like and expand to provide extra traction and surface area. This allows them to walk on boggy, marshy ground without sinking in, acting very much like a natural snowshoe or a wide tire. But when winter arrives, the soft pads shrink and tighten, exposing the sharp, hard rim of the hoof. This sharp rim is capable of cutting into the ice to prevent slipping, and it provides a tool for digging down into the snow to find moss. And our 5th and final fun fact for today: reindeer milk is some of the richest and most nutritious milk on the planet. Because reindeer calves are born in harsh environments and need to grow rapidly to keep up with the herd, the mothers produce milk that is incredibly dense with energy. While a cow's milk that we buy at the store usually has a fat content of about 3 to 4%, reindeer milk has a fat content of around 20%. This makes it like a concentrated energy bomb that allows the calf to double its weight in a very short amount of time. This high-fat diet is essential for thermoregulation, giving the babies a layer of insulation they need to survive cold nights immediately after birth. It just shows how extreme the Arctic environment is. Every biological function, even lactation or milk production, has to be optimized for speed, growth, and heat retention. Now for some news you can use. If you want to stay warm this winter, take a lesson from the reindeer. They have mastered the art of the double coat. Reindeer stay warm because they have a dense, woolly undercoat that traps air against their skin and a longer, hollow outer coat that blocks the wind and water. You can replicate this by wearing a moisture-wicking base layer, your wool, and a windproof shell, your guard hairs, rather than just one big heavy coat. This works because while the air outside is cold, the air trapped between the layers actually acts as an insulator. If you get too hot, you can remove the shell, but if the wind picks up, you just put it back on. By mimicking the biology of Arctic animals, you can regulate your temperature much more effectively than trying to rely on a single garment to do all the work. As someone who really hates to be cold, my personal strategy is to use an electric heated vest under my winter coat. And for anyone thinking of going that route, I actually recommend sizing down on an electric heated garment because you'll actually feel the heating elements much better if they're a little bit tighter to your body. And of course, the coat over that provides a nice outer shell that helps to keep all that heat bottled in for you. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked, can reindeer really eat in their sleep? Well, that's a fact. Reindeer are ruminants, meaning they have a complex four-chambered stomach similar to a cow. They eat large amounts of moss and lichens, which they later regurgitate as cud to chew again for better digestion. The scientists monitoring reindeer brainwaves discovered that during this rhythmic chewing process, the reindeer's brain enters a state almost identical to non-REM sleep. Essentially, the repetitive, calm motion of chewing cud allows them to multitask, fulfilling their sleep requirements while simultaneously processing their food. It's a brilliant evolutionary hack that allows them to maximize their time during the short Arctic summer. This adaptation is crucial because of the reindeer's specific diet and the need for thermoregulation. The lichens and moss they eat are low in nutrition but abundant, meaning they have to process massive volumes of it to build up a thick layer of back fat, sometimes up to 2 inches thick. This fat is not just an energy reserve, it creates vital insulation that traps body heat. And the digestive process itself is actually like an internal furnace. The fermentation of the plants in their stomach generates significant body heat, helping them stay warm inside and out. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about reindeer with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.